All right, guys, let's head to the waiver wire.
Yeah, games for next week. Houston and Milwaukee have 2 games, and there are 8 teams with 4 games. So pretty busy week, although not as busy, I feel like, as the last few weeks have been. And we do have the All-Star break coming up soon. So keep in mind, we'll touch on that a little bit more, but there's some weird, sometimes they could, your league will combine the 2 All-Star weeks. Sometimes it's like 2 short half weeks. We'll get to that. My available in 50% of leagues suggestion, Luke Kennard of Detroit Pistons fame, 45% rostered on Yahoo, 10% on ESPN. Kawhi and Paul George probably not coming back this season, as we touched on in the news section. Last 8 games, Kennard's averaging 14.5 points on 10 shots, 5 rebounds, 3 assists in just under 27 minutes. And 2 years ago, he ranked 101st per game in 33 minutes with the Pistons. So, he's capable of at least hovering around that, early 100 range.
Also shooting 50% during those last 8 games, which for a 3-point guy, pretty nice.
Yeah, he's an efficient shooter, great 3-point shooter. Capable of taking on some extra usage when necessary, like he was with the Pistons when it seemed like they might give him the keys to the car at some point. Yeah, that's my suggestion. Ken, who do you have?
I'm going with a guy that, a little surprised to see. He's only rostered in 53% of Yahoo leagues, only 21% of ESPN. And that's reserve guard Coby White for the Chicago Bulls. White admittedly struggled early in the season as they were bringing in DeRozan and Ball. Was cut by a lot of fantasy squads. But hey, Lonzo Ball and Alex Caruso, they're both out to March. Last 11 games for White, 14.5 points, 3.5 assists, 2.3 triples. Warning, he is still only shooting 40% from the field. But Coby White getting a lot of run as the Bulls deal with injuries.
Yeah, he's been solid. He's not going to be putting up numbers that he did when he had a much larger role with the Bulls last season. But there's still plenty of leagues where 13-3-3 with heavy 3-pointers is useful. So I like that. I like that pickup.
Who's your first suggestion, Shannon?
My first suggestion is Davion Mitchell, Sacramento Kings guard, rookie guard, well known for his great defense already. He's 44% owned on Yahoo, 9% owned on ESPN. He's seen a great bump in value due to De'Aaron Fox being out over the past 4 games. Mitchell has averaged almost 35 minutes per game, 19 points, 2.5 3-pointers, 5.5 assists. While he is great at defense, he doesn't necessarily rack up a bunch of steals, but his on the ball perimeter defense is fantastic. He's only averaging 0.8. I do think his quality play on that side of the court will eventually translate into more steals. So this is somewhat speculative because De'Aaron Fox is returning. His ankle injury, he should be back probably sometime soon, if not right after the All-Star break. But I also believe De'Aaron Fox is one of the most likely candidates to get traded this year. I believe that is Tyrese Halliburton's team going forward, and whoever they get in return for De'Aaron Fox, which will probably be a wing or a big man. With Davion Mitchell, Halliburton, they don't really need De'Aaron Fox anymore. So I think it makes sense for the Kings to move him, and I expect Mitchell to hold more value moving forward than he did the first third or half of the season.
Yeah, I like the speculation on Fox. I mean, boy, when are they blowing things up in Sacramento? How many playoffs do they need to miss?
Yeah, I think, like Shannon said, I think the only 2 guys on that roster that you care about are Davion Mitchell and Tyrese Halliburton, and everyone else, in theory, if you're Kings management, should be available.
Yes.
And that may only just be Halliburton, but both those guys, I think you could start a rebuild. My long shot of the week, Reggie Bullock, 15% rostered on Yahoo, 3% on ESPN. Tim Hardaway Jr.'s got a broken foot. Would be shocked to see him back again this season, especially at any point in the fantasy season. Bullock's last 4 games, 17.8 points, 5.3 rebounds, 1.8 steals in just under 30 minutes. Obviously, the 18 points are not sustainable. But in 30 minutes per game last year, he did rank 162nd. But that was on a Knicks team without like a great distributor or anything like that. You got Luka Doncic throwing you clean passes for open threes. You could certainly rise above that 162. So surprised to see he was only 15% roster, but I guess the way that the waiver wire like week, when Tim Hardaway Jr. got hurt, people not having a ton of confidence stuff. But I assume next week he will be closer to 50%. So tons of threes and maybe steals for you if you pick them up. Ken.
My long shot, and it's a long shot, baby. Veteran Goran Dragic, who's sort of on Toronto right now. Trade deadline's February 10th. There's a lot of rumors out there for the 35-year-old. It'd be crazy for the Raptors to hold on to him. And just remember, last year, 13.5 points, 4.5 assists, almost a steal a game, 1.8 triples per game with the Heat. You got bench room. Throw a dart at the Dragon. Let's see where he winds up.
That's interesting. Yeah, if you're in a super deep league, and for some reason Dragic's 13 points and 4 assists would normally be snatched up like immediately, I think there's a play for this. It's always good to bring guys up like that who are basically guaranteed to get moved or buyout candidates, guys like that. Shannon, long shot.
My long shot, I have 2 actually. Brandon Goodwin from the Cleveland Cavs with Garland out, Rubio out, everyone. They essentially have no point guards, and Godwin has stepped up for him in the past couple games. He has. Let me pull up these stats again. Apologies. He past 2 games, 29 minutes per, 14 points, 4 rebounds, 4.5 assists, 1 steal, and 2 3-pointers. It's remains to be seen how long our Darius All-Starlin will be out. But as long as he is, Godwin's going to be worth the stream. It's just a byproduct of being so short-handed. But he basically came off the bench, had 21 points in the first game, and then the next game he started, saw 32 minutes, 7, 7, and 8. Solid production. This is just a team. They're so shallow at the guard position right now. I mean, yeah, our boy Chetty Osman get 12 assists one game because they had no one else who could pass the ball. So I just think Godwin will be worth at least a stream for the next period before the All-Star break. And the other guy I've got is Trey Mann for the Oklahoma Thunder. He has started 3 straight games. All games SGA has sat out. In those 3 games, Mann has averaged 30 minutes, 17 points, 3.7 3-pointers. And this is the guy who I would argue is a good streaming option over a Joe Harris. If you have Joe Harris on your roster and you need 3-pointers, Mann's 21-year-old coming off a career high 29.6 3-pointer effort against the Mavericks on Wednesday. He played 41 minutes, the team high 41 minutes. The value might be temporary because SGA may be back after the All-Star break, but in the meantime, Mann's worth streaming.
And the Thunder would be crazy to rush Gilgeous-Alexander back. They're not
Yes.
playing for anything. So even when he comes back, I could see him getting every other game off or something for a while.
Yeah, absolutely. And Trey Mann's different than he's different than Brandon Goodwin. He's not a 26-year-old basically outcast,
right?
Who's just a two-way contract. Trey Mann's the first-round pick from 18th overall pick in the 2021 draft. He is an actual piece that the Thunder are going to try to build around, or at least evaluate and try to determine if he is a future long-term piece. So he could hold value longer than what we've seen so far. I mean, there've been guys like Aaron Wiggins starting for them. They could easily just go with Trey Mann instead, even after SGA returns.
Josh Giddey's 6'8". He could play small forward too
He does,
if they like
yeah.
Mann in that starting lineup, you know?
Yeah, they've gone with a lot of small lineups. So that's entirely possible.
Something you also do when you have 0 bigs, like Oklahoma.
Yes. Absolutely.
All right.
Okay. Have we?
Yeah,
Is it time for the dull suggestion?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, let's do that.
Jaden McDaniels of our Minnesota Timberwolves rostered in 1/3 of Yahoo leagues. T-Wolves have 4 games next week, including 2 games against the fantasy-friendly Sacramento Kings and another game against the friendly Indiana Pacers. So that's 3 out of 4 quality matchups. Now, first check if Jared Vanderbilt, who we've discussed on earlier pods, see if he's gone. He probably is. He's rostered in 2/3 of leagues on Yahoo. If so, if he's taken, then shift gears to McDaniels. In his last 7 games, 10 points, 3.5 rebounds, 2+ assists, 1.2 stocks, while shooting 54% from the field and hitting almost 1.5 threes. Dull pick, taking advantage of game count, but 1 week streamer for Jaden McDaniels. Give that a shot.
It's all about winning the week. Something that probably doesn't get discussed enough in terms of fantasy basketball. So,
Maybe.
And actually, I want to bring up someone else from Minnesota, since we discussed McDaniels. What about Taurean Prince? He's had a couple of really big games this week.
A forgotten veteran.
Yeah, I mean it doesn't get much duller than Taurean Prince.
yes.
But 24.
Cool.
Right, absolutely is. The past 2 games, he's averaged 24 minutes off the bench, 23 points, 7.5 rebounds, 1.5 steals, and 5.5 3-pointers. So I guess, yeah, it helps to shoot 73% from downtown. That'll make you more valuable. And if you extend that out to the past 4 games, even over the past 4 games, he's shooting 68% from downtown. So he's caught fire from 3 with D'Angelo Russell missing some time. They've needed more minutes from their bench unit. I guess if you're in a deep enough league, Taurean Prince is also an option.
Try RotoWire today, free for 10 days. Get our premium tools, rankings, analysis, and breaking news alerts. No credit card required. Go to rotowire.com/try.